Sir, yes sir. What's up guys? My name is J.O. Welcome to Kick That Gospel. This is my YouTube channel. This is officially my first video entry here on YouTube. So please guys, I implore you to go ahead and subscribe down below. If you do not know what Kick That Gospel is, I'll go ahead and explain that right now. Kick That Gospel is a brand and movement that I created with my wife Michelle back in 2016. We were just trying to figure out, what are some things that we are passionate about. I grew up as a sneaker enthusiast as a kid, watching the late great Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Rodman, and just being encouraged so much by their way of playing and becoming a fan of that team. And so my love for kicks naturally grew out of that, watching just their dominance on the board and being one of, if not the, I would say, greatest team of all time in the NBA. So naturally became a sneakerhead. On top of that, I also grew up in the church. I know that's kind of got like a bad indignation a lot of times in our world, but I grew up in the church, kind of grew my faith, my love for Christ and the gospel, how he is in the process of renewing our lives and renewing our souls and building his kingdom here on earth. So I grew up to love God and love others as myself. And so naturally I wanted to see in 2016, how does my love for kicks and my love for God meet in the same room? And that's how we came about with Kick That Gospel. So this is where we are now. Today we just want to get into three things real quick. First is Kick That. Kick That is going to be a segment in the show that kind of talks about our obviously our love for kicks and particularly a shoe that we may have copped or a shoe that we are looking to cop. I don't know about y'all. Me myself, I am a MBA marketing student, so I do have student loans and things like that I'm looking to pay off. So I probably won't be copping as many kicks as I want, but I have copped some things. I may cop some things over the years or over these next couple episodes or series of shows here on YouTube, and show you what's hot and latest out. I'm sure you guys probably are into that maybe. But and then also we're going to look at another segment that's going to talk about just what are we reading, what are some things that we're looking at that has kind of encouraged our faith and have helped equip us to love others or helped us to reflect on our love for God. We'll look at maybe one book just to encourage you and give you guys a resource to equip you for your everyday life. And then we'll look at lastly a Bible verse that has encouraged us or given us a new perspective on our life and where we are, and then encouraged us to live out this gospel, right? This that gospel in this case, and has encouraged us to do that. Now I know a lot of you guys have probably already seen this shoe. It's all good. It's a shoe that came out in 2009 as a package deal. I don't know if you guys, back in 2009, I was working at Finish Line and I had missed out on this particular drop, but had the opportunity as of late to cop myself a pair. So you already see the box, you know what I mean? So you see the box, you already see the wood outside of the box. Also, you also see the probably the word Toro Bravo on there, so you already know what this is. Yes, sir. You already know. Raging Bull 5s. Now, I would say this is probably the reason why. This is probably the reason why I got into sneakers. I really am a 5s lover. I love the metallic 5s, green beans. The stealths, which I have not gotten a chance to cop yet, fire reds, both versions, but this particular shoe, I had one on the sneakers app, which we all know, if you ever use the sneakers app, you might want to almost become a sinner because of the way they just don't let you cop what you like. But anyway, so yeah, As you see that, ice glass, it will say bottom, got that fire red outsole. Just the, Jordan, on the Jordan 5s, kind of focused on this being almost like a ship, like a fighter ship. So that's why you have like the little wave thing kind of going on at the bottom. But yeah, this was a particular shoe I've been wanting to cop for a while, and so thank you, sneakers, for finally wielding your love towards me. I'm glad that you finally showed your boy some love. But this particular book by Rich Villodas, called The Deeply Formed Life, is 5 values to root us in the way of Jesus. Rich Villodas did an amazing job. I'm still reading this book, and it kind of encourages you to think about some contemplative rhythms. For you, if you're a person that's always exhausted, always working, always doing a whole bunch of stuff, you need to cop this book. This book will help you kind of pause and reflect and rest. Obviously, if you know anything about the faith, we're always talking about the Sabbath. God gives the children of Israel this particular day out of the week to rest. God worked. In the book of Genesis, God worked for 6 days. And the 7th day, he didn't do anything. He just rested from his work, and he called it good. So it kind of encourages us to rest and to deeply reflect on where God has us, and where God wants to bring us. Another part of the book deals on racial justice. For those that have kind of been seeing the landscape of our world, you already know that racism and socialism and all these different paradigms that have separated people and divided people from one another. Rich kind of touches on that, and how does the Christian kind of engage that on the ground level. And then there's a moment where he talks about inner examination, just of what is happening internally with us, our mind, our soul, our deep thoughts. Like how do those internal thoughts help us see God and see others. And then he talks about sexual wholeness for a culture that splits their bodies from souls, and then missional presence for distracted and disengaged people. Maybe you're somebody who left the church because you were hurt by the church, which if you've ever been in a church, the church is full of people. So there's a good chance that you probably will in fact get hurt. It's not that that's God's intention, but kind of happens when you're dealing with people. So I don't want to babble any longer. Please check out my man's book. This is an amazing book. I'm already halfway through it, so looking to finish it up real soon. The Deeply Formed Life by Rich Villodas. Yeah. We'll call this the gospel plug. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at, so I got my little tablet. I'm on the Bible. I'm gonna look at a couple of verses, like three solid verses. Let's look at Leviticus 23:3. It says, "Work may be done for 6 days, but on the 7th day there is to be a Sabbath of complete rest, a sacred assembly. You're not to do any work. It is a Sabbath to the Lord wherever you live." Jesus, God, the Father, Holy Spirit, a communal trinity of one God together in community, worked for 6 days, and then on the 7th day he rested. He rested from his work because, not because he had to, right? He's God. If God is God, he doesn't have to rest. I think the rest piece is for us. I think the rest piece allows us to look at and reflect on our work. One thing about it that I've kind of learned is that even with the children of Israel, they could not work all the time, right? So they always were preparing for rest. If you look at anything from the Torah that kind of deals with the rest, they always prepare. So Friday by sunset, they're preparing for one particular day of rest, which is dope. Like, it shows that we're not supposed to work, and then maybe if we get a chance, we'll take a rest. No, Sabbath allows us to pause. Like our rest stays in so many ways undone. You know, our work stays undone, and it helps us to deeply reflect and also trust God. Because if you're a person that, you know, always does a lot of work or does a lot of things, has multiple businesses, you know, it can be scary trying to stop for a minute, because you're like, man, yo, what if I didn't finish this, finish sending this invoice, or finish paying this, or whatever. You could freak out and think that one day is going to crush your whole Sabbath, and it shouldn't. Sabbath gives us a moment to yield our work over to the Lord and yield our souls, bodies to be restored by God. And so it's so important that we find rhythms of rest. We find not just a day to rest. We find that rest is a preparation. Like as we're working, we are also preparing to rest from our work and our labor, and trust God for the results. Like we're not trying to trust in our good works. We're not trying to trust in what we produce, but we are who God made us to be, and because of that, we can rest and trust Him with our work. So yeah, that's something I've been reflecting on. God talks about in Exodus 28, remember the Sabbath, keep it holy. He talks about this in Exodus 29. You are to labor 6 days and do all your work. Exodus 20:11, for the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and everything in the 6 days, and then He rested on the seventh. Therefore, the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and declared it holy. And He talks also in Exodus 31:16, the Israelites must observe the Sabbath, celebrating it throughout their generations as a permanent covenant. So it's just amazing how we don't get to work to rest. Like our culture is, we work, and then all our work is done, then we'll rest. God's trying to show us that that's not true. It's we work for a certain amount of time, we prepare for rest, and then when the day of rest comes, we take our hands off the wheel, and we ultimately trust God for the results. So anyway, guys, love y'all. Hope you enjoyed our little spill today, and I pray that this is encouraging and equipping for you as you start off your week. It's encouraging and equipping for me starting off my week, and I pray God will continue to bless you.